I'm doing what I promised in January comebacks video, which is getting to know victon and seeing if maybe I want to stand them. Hopefully for you, it's going to be interesting to hear my thoughts along the way, my wrong and right assumptions, and generally how I feel about it, and of course, see the result. Now, I did promise myself I'm not going to record anything, but this is my third attempt at this intro, so that's going well. And I'm very glad I actually set a date, because otherwise I would have very much slacked. Lastly, this video is going to be structured weirdly, in terms of I'm going to try to bring it together in the editing, but this is basically me saying what I think at some given moment, hours or even days in between. But I'm hopeful that this will work somehow. Anyway, let's begin. Where we're up to now. I more or less have learned, I guess, the correlation of names to faces of members. Not everyone, but mostly. And I actually very used to statistic, but I wanna say in which order I start recognizing them. But one thing I haven't done yet is check how to say their names. So, next is a prediction that I might not enjoy some of their older music, and by older I mean like prior to 2019, just from the snippets that I've seen, but we'll see. I guess their equivalent of byungchan bombs. I mean, it's called TV victon, but they merge TV and victon together, which I don't know how to say that. How are I supposed to? I very much enjoyed watching those, and I mean, I have to say they're incredibly chaotic, but also fun, which is promising because there's not much of the usual content that I look for in those videos, but I very much still enjoyed them. Music-wise, I am very much surprisingly still loving each single song more and more as time progresses. At this point, I would say that the opposite would be happening, so I would be forgetting about the album and moving on. Also, I haven't been able to choose one favorite. They just keep switching every few days, and then there's some song that I think that I like less, then something happens, and then suddenly one I listen to the most. And lastly, for I guess this section, is that I need to stop looking for that grand moment when I realized that I'm super into victon, I'm in their fandom, and I wanna stand them. Which is what happened with BTS. I was very much pulled in by simply one video, and I could stop, but I didn't stop. And because of that, it's the experience I associate with, well, standing someone. But I think I got a wrong idea. First of all, I did somewhat have that moment with victon already, in terms of their music and not their, I guess, personality. And second of all, I'm in a very different place in life, I guess, compared to where I've been when I got into BTS, because then I was looking for a new fandom to join, for new music to listen, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and now I have none of that. Therefore, I'll be perfectly satisfied with, I guess, calling myself part of their fandom if I end up enjoying most of victon content, learning a lot, enjoying that knowledge, and wanting to continue following them. Now, of course, the most important part for me of what I would consider standing is, I guess, that feeling of this is being group that you like and all that follows. And funnily enough, I think I already got that, but I do genuinely feel like I lack the knowledge of what that group is fully and truly is.
Okay, I've said I'm going to do something like that, and I am doing it. Like, this kind of moment is that weird hilarious yet, like, yeah, everybody loves food, maybe sometimes a little too much, and it's not a big personality trait, but look, if you notice things and moments like this, like in general, there's two kind of moments: big, hilarious, funny, and you can't stop laughing, and others that, I don't know, are cute, or I don't know, it's interesting that the relationship they have and stuff like this. But one similar trait they share is relatability, and the fact that exactly that make those moments really enjoyable to watch and interesting to watch. Yeah, this is the conclusion from moment of sejun, hopefully pronounced like that, and Look, have I looked up the pronunciation yet? No, I haven't. But anyway, that's his conclusion from the moment of him, I don't know, eating something of a bottle of cola while pretending to sing in it. Yeah. Oh, so loud. Like, that might be a wrong observation at this point in time, but they're so loud, and in a good way. For me, I like being loud. I like other people being loud. But, yeah. You know what? This is weird, but they gave me my old classmates' energy. And like, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing at all, or even why, but they give me all of that energy.
Okay, now it's been actually forever since I updated you last, but not the point. The point is that, given how much time has passed, I have a lot to say. First of all, the stupid statistic of who I started recognizing first. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. I watched the guide and like, it's the most confusing, doesn't make sense in English. I don't know, transcription? What are they called? Organizations? Ever? I don't know. I'll just put it on the screen, okay? Next. I have listened to, I guess, the first album, their first debut EP, Voice to the New World, if I'm not mistaken. And I gotta say, I'm not really impressed with the music itself, which to be expected, but what I'm interested in now is lyrics and music videos, because I haven't seen those yet, and most importantly, stages. Well, there's one thing that I'm very impressed as of their latest comeback, I guess, and it is interesting when they had or didn't have that stage presence, and not only interesting in terms of them as one group, but also on the larger scale of how much is it just like their personality as people, experience, how much of it is it just learned. So that's something I'm gonna do. But also I am finally done with a lot of other things, so be able to dedicate my full attention to this video. Look at me forgetting to say things I wanted to say. Right now, victon are, for me, on about the same level as Stray Kids, which is that weird place of, I feel like I know them, I feel like I'm a big fan, generally through music I listen to and I guess socials, just following them there and watching something stupid on YouTube, and that results in, hey, I feel like I'm in the fandom. But in reality, no. Do I start on this channel? I want to. In reality, I don't know anything. And I guess the point of this type of video is to take that anything to everything. But so far, we only got into anything. But considering that there was actually nothing in the first place, that's not too bad. Okay, I'm done with their EP, debut EP, finally. Which means I have looked at the lyrics and music videos and all those things. Now, for now, disregarding the performance, I'd say 6 out of 10, 1 being absolutely terrible, I don't know how people listen to this, and 10 being absolutely amazing. It's in the middle, I don't really care. It's got some moments, but overall, I'd say that's awkward. Now, again, I'm sorry for the comparisons, but it sound-wise and even lyric-wise reminds me of very early BTS music, so like school era. And it just got that vibe of awkward, we're going to write songs about crushes and girls and love. There is a little attempt at being more serious, I think, throughout the songs, which is nice. And also, what I liked is that I think some of the members participated in some lyrics. That was very vague. You know better than me. But they have some credits, that's good. Now, also, something I didn't mention towards the album, I think that overall, if there was something that would have been like, hey, maybe I should check out this group and who they are, it would be the music video for I'm Fine. Because I'm pretty sure I have seen it before, and that little combination of very bright and cute with, I don't know, something in the lighting or just in the way it's filmed, something about this made this music video, it's a little awkward and odd, just a bit, but I do think it's quite nicely done. But it's okay, I think. Overall, yeah, as I said, 6 out of 10. I wouldn't say that I'm really disappointed with the album. I didn't expect much. And also, it's just a debut EP. It's fine. But also, if I just randomly heard it somewhere, no, I wouldn't want to check it out. Now, I won't be spending as much time on any of their music, just because this will take you forever. But I did want to dedicate enough for this one. Let's move on. I was supposed to go do other things, but I've just watched victon's cover of BTS Fire, Burning Up Fire, and I struggled to understand if it was their recorded version of them singing it, or if they used just the original version. I can assume that Victon actually covered it, which, I mean, I gotta say, it fits perfectly. It doesn't, I don't think, add much, but, like, it's a very good cover. And, like, obviously I'm very picky with, well, covers of songs and artists that I like, and I very much enjoy this one. And more importantly, this stage is, well, fire. It is, they have unbelievable energy there. I haven't looked at what year it was, I think it's not that long ago, but I'm very much impressed by it. Okay, remember how I said that unfortunately I haven't been able to have that moment when I realized that Victon is a group that I love and want to stan, which, referring to that moment, is what I had felt with BTS, that this is the group I want to find out so much more about, that I'm beyond excited to find out about, that I feel like there's nothing that would discourage me from liking them and change my mind at this point, and that there is, as just before, as many things that, real life things that I have to do, and of course I will do them, but that moment basically means that this group is what my irresponsibility wants to do and wants to pay so much attention to and spend every free moment I have finding out more about and enjoying more content from. And my conclusion from the fact that I haven't had that with Victon was that I'm in a too different place right now to simply have enough energy or will to, well, have that moment. And that it won't matter, that it's fine, because as long as I still enjoy the group a lot, I'm good with saying that I stan them, and I was very much wrong. I take my words, well, not back. If I actually fully disagreed, I would have just deleted it from there, but I changed my mind. That moment is what I need to be looking for, and that moment will be what I determine if I stan a group by. Now, by any means, this doesn't mean that the conclusion of this video is that no, I'll just leave Victon in that list of groups that produce great music and something else, but I don't really care about it enough. Because it might have taken a little longer, but I so had that moment with them, with Victon, and I forgot how exciting it is. Because that kind of moment doesn't last. It just becomes a steady, this is the group I love, and it's steadily there and doesn't go anywhere, but the initial first feelings die down. Of course, that makes sense, but I'm actually insanely happy that Victon pulled me in enough for that, because I have realized that it is what makes it or breaks it. Now, a new conclusion about having this moment is that in the future with other groups, I should be giving it time, but in the end, if I have done everything that I would have usually done and I still haven't felt anything close to that, that group should be going on the list of cool, but unfortunately not interested enough. Now, I think something very important is content, so who the group are, basically, all the variety and live shows and stuff like that. And surprisingly, as I think I said before, it was incredibly difficult to find like a comprehensive list of what Victon have done, and therefore I stopped on watching a few episodes of Victon Diary, I think it's called, on YouTube, and I did a few of the oldest ones and few of the newest ones, and I don't have that much to comment, except it has very much shifted my ability to, again, judge their debut EP. And also, though it is fun to see, I don't know if that's the right word, to see how close they are, it isn't exactly the kind of stuff what's looking for. I'll put it on screen in some way, but there's this moment from another of their series where what caught my attention in this moment is, I guess, the relationship of, and of course it's very much tied to personality, but the relationship of not wanting to just straight up say that something is bad, and I guess the goal of finding that soft way to say that. I don't know if I did a very good job explaining it, but hopefully you know what I mean. And in general, that's the kind of moment that usually interests me and that I'm usually looking for. On a side note, I love how organized their YouTube channel is, and obviously it's not that they do it themselves, they have stuff to do it, but it's such a tiny thing. Lastly, for their official content is this vlive, and in general there's not ever much to say about lives for me, but nonetheless, I guess little conclusion from it is that I might not be in the place where I actually know their personalities enough to, I guess, enjoy the silence, but I wasn't bored, even given the fact that nothing much happened, and also I didn't not vibe with him, which I have watched a vlive of other person from other group that it just showed how much we're different and how much, well, I couldn't watch it because it was boring and I just didn't understand it, basically. I didn't understand the humor or I guess like the personality. And I'm gonna have to say his again, for his vlive, I mean, I don't want to make assumptions about how they were feeling, especially this early on, but I enjoyed watching it. Now, for the, I guess, fan-made stuff for YouTube videos, basically, I have watched less than I expected to watch. For many reasons, mostly I ran out of time, but what I have seen, which I will link some kind of playlist, I guess, in the description, just, I guess, to be fair. From what I have seen, some of I have talked about already, but most importantly, this one video, I think very nicely put the timeline for me together of, I guess, events, their history, because it is one thing that I wasn't sure about, as obviously I'm looking at it from 2021 and whatever I hear about or watch has its own set of circumstances that were relevant at that particular time, that is so far from now that it's hard for me to imagine where it is and know what it is. And that video certainly helped me a lot to just see the scale. We're nearing the end of this video and I think it's time to talk about music. Initially, I promised and I was going to check out absolutely everything they have, go through it, and well, my standard way of doing it is to listen to the song, then watch a music video, then watch it with lyrics, also watch the stages. From that point on, take it to my playlist and see how I like that in the long run. And have very soon realized that it's too much for, I guess, this video, because though Victon don't have that many songs, they have more than I thought they do, and I don't want to rush it just because I have to put this video out. Therefore, I've already talked about their debut EP, Voice to the New World, and I'm also, in a second for you, and in the past for me, have talked about Howling. As for the other releases, I most likely will do a full review, maybe with some first reactions as well, but that I'm not guaranteeing. Anyway, a discography review sometime in the future. Lastly, I have said that I'm giving Voice to the New World, their debut EP, a very weak 6. And, well, okay, at this point I am losing some kind of objectivity and just being able to be critical about what they do. But if I was convinced that it's going to be that week 6 no matter what, I'm not so sure anymore, so that's under question. Okay, let's move on. One thing I don't think I have talked about once in this video is who's my bias. And that's for a simple reason that more or less unconsciously have decided not to pick biases as well. Now, previously I only did stan BTS and I don't have a bias there, and I don't think I'm interested in choosing one in any other groups anytime soon. Because it is just putting it in a weird box of, this is one member I like the most, and apparently that matters, and apparently I'm supposed to know which member I like the most. And also then I have supposed to have a bias wrecker, who apparently I like as well too, and then sometimes they become a bias, and I get that this concept isn't that complicated, but for me it's a little too pointless to bother. And I would prefer just leave it as anybody who I feel like at the moment, or just all of them at once. I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm literally 38 seconds into the song Howling, and I mean, I stand by my decision to start from the bottom, from the first album. It makes sense, but this is so... I mean, I want to say honey, but it's not honey, it's some kind of a different adjective, but... Look, judging by those 38 seconds, I will love it. No, but really, it's smooth, and the transition... First of all, the rap itself is very smooth, but the transition between it and singing and it is in itself is so fully and well, smooth. Okay, it's smooth. It very much doesn't attack you with anything, yet it's so attention grabbing for some reason. Now, coming from a person who doesn't know much about music, for me it's interesting where emphasis goes, and like it doesn't have heavy beat, at least not so far, yet it's very nicely pops in some places. Also, if you were wondering, 1 minute 26 seconds. And I talked about what I said that it stops in the middle and it's not fast anymore. It doesn't get any faster. And for Howling, again, haven't even finished listening to the song, but it isn't fast by any means ever. Yet, same with what I said, it has quite a lot of layers, it's pretty atmospheric, which keeps it going a lot, and also, again, emphasis on what's higher, what's lower this time. And that emphasis helps it not blend into one boring to listen to thing. Also, I'm not yet sure if there is a certain emotion they're trying to carry, but in case there is one, they're doing a very good job of it. Because the song feels like it's evoking certain feeling from you. I can't put a finger on what exactly is. I don't know, in some ways sad, in some ways... I don't know yet. Not yet. But I'll be surprised if there's actually nothing and it just feels like that. Sings the song so well. And it's so pretty, and like obviously I love dark. That's my thing. I don't think there's one cute concept that I so far actually liked, but it's just so fitting. It visualizes the song really nicely. I'm not sure what's going on actually, because, well, I still haven't seen the lyrics, but it looks really nice. And I'm sure you don't, but if you want more comparisons to BTS, then in the very beginning, Blood, Sweat and Tears, then Fake Love and Stay Gold, in terms of music videos. Sound-wise, I wouldn't compare them. Lyrics are also difficult to talk about. Like, they're very much well done. I just said it about something else, but they're insanely well done. They're very pretty and beautiful, and they do convey the message, well, they have. Now, at this point, I don't know what to think, because I very much used to regard any song based on love as, could you not think about anything else to sing about? But at this point, having seen as many lyrics as I have, I give up on even thinking about that. Like, it has a meaning in its own place. I'm like, good, fine, whatever. Now, in the duration in which I was not supposed to check out the song, I only have performances and stages left. So, moving on to that. Performance video. Now, if with previous, granted, just first debut stages, I had complained about, I guess, choreography itself, then here I do think that it is both really continuous. It's both really continuous, and it's very good at visualizing the song, which, come on, it's choreography, it's his actual job. Now, note it even, well, I hate that I broke the timeline, but even with their first performances, they were, as per me, really good dancers, and every time I watch them, that's something that I think about. Now, stage presence wise, like there are some basic things in that, like, you know, how good they're dancing, what are their face expressions, how well they convey the emotion. Those are the standard things. But they, not of course not only they, but we're talking about victon here, so they have this, as of right now, unexplainable for me, something in the way they perform that is captivating and that does make it interesting to watch. It is none of the usual things that are, well, mentioned as stage presence. It's something else. And, well, at some point I will try to see what it is and explain what it is. But as of right now, I'm just going to very much enjoy it. Lastly, except the song incredibly good, and honestly at this point I don't have anything else to say, I do think I'm supposed to mention that I'm aware that one of them is not there, and I know who is not there, but I said I'm not going to even try saying the name, so I'm not even going to try saying the name. So, we're finally at the conclusion. Now, it is crazy how much I underestimated how much work this video will be and how much content there just is to go through and how much time I'll need to do all that, which might have somewhat reflected on my ability to actually do as much as I initially wanted to. However, this video format for me is very weird / I didn't really know how to do it, but I had fun, so I do have a plan to do something like this again in the future with a different group. Initially before victon, before I even knew about victon, I was planning to do a video like this on Stray Kids, but things got in the way in so many ways. Wow. Anyway, victon, and to answer the grand question of this video, is, I guess, if I stand them now? And you know what, that works perfectly well as a title, but it does not work for me as a question that I can actually answer. Because, honestly, for myself, I'm still not sure what I would consider standing, because even simply looking at the experience, of course, I have with BTS, the main points would be having that moment of realization, I guess, that this is a group I'm very much interested in right now, and after that, enjoying their content or music a lot. But even that really just depends on how much time I have in real life and how busy I am with everything, which often, especially right now, going further actually and studying more groups, I have no idea how I'm going to, like, catch up with everything. Therefore, back to our question of standing victon. I took myself to a place with this video of I'm very much emotionally invested in the group. And I mean, I'm not forgetting about them at this point. But I do want to keep learning more and I guess find out about them on my own before I actually fully comfortable to call myself Stan and Alice. I don't know, saying this fandom's name is always so awkward and weird. Like, it shouldn't be, but it is. Yeah, just like to sum up, I had an amazing time, like, watching what they have, but I underestimated how time-consuming and energy-consuming this will be. Therefore, the time limit was good for actually doing this video. It wasn't good for actually giving myself enough time to do everything as much as I should have. To, well, take it up to the, like, top level of, yeah, I wanna say that I fully stand up. I feel like I've been rambling for a very long time, but just the main points. I not only have really enjoyed some of their music, maybe not all of the older stuff, but some of their music, and most importantly, I really felt that thing that I've said previously about when you like the group, you make an effort to like a song, and again, with their older albums, I've felt that a lot. Second is that I might have not learned that much about them yet, but first of all, I'm on the state of wait there. Second of all, do you know that weird feeling of this is a group I'm familiar with, and these are people I'm familiar with, And going back to that vlive, for me personally, watching vlives of people I either really don't care about or that I dislike, it doesn't work. Therefore, the fact that I very much enjoyed it does mean a lot. Lastly, one thing that really worked against me here is the lack of fan-made content. And this is not to say that there is none, there's definitely plenty, and such a big fandom to such a small one. I felt the smaller scale a lot. I guess this is conclusion part 2 or outro, but first of all, thank you for watching. If miraculously have to this point, even if you skipped half of it, that is still impressive. Now, out of this video, there's a few things I do actually want to continue doing with a theme of victon, which, as I said previously, discography review, but I'll have to figure out how I want to do that, if I want to do any of the this is what I think the second I hear the song, or I just want to do a concise review weeks after I've heard it. I'm not sure about it yet, but this is a format I want to try as well. Second of all, I want to do, I guess, inspired by victon instead of really thinking about them, but at some point, video about stage presence and what actually makes it good, because I'm convinced it's not only like facial expression and dancing and stuff like this. And I guess, third of all, of course, given how much I like them, and I mean that hopefully this video ended up more or less meaning that I understand them now, that feels oddly official. Wow. I will, of course, be just including them and yeah, they're relevant to that video. Look, there's a lot more I could have talked about, but this video has been going on for way too long. It has been extremely disorganized, and I'm posting this video today and I'm not even done with it. And that's the level of disorganization I swear I've never had in anything. So, again, if you're miraculously still watching, thank you. And please do leave a comment, actually. That's the... I mean, look, subscriptions and likes are a nice thing, and they do feel nice, but like, I think the most fun thing would be if people actually have started saying their opinion on anything that I say, because that's discussion. Discussion is kinda most fun of any of it. So, thank you, and goodbye!